Hey everyone, welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic. Last weekend I was able to go to Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario, California, and I saw a panel about creating indie heroes, like basically creating brand new superheroes. So I'm going to take some clips here that might be interesting to you, especially if you are interested in these books or if you are trying to create a comic from the ground up like they did. So here we have Jason and Ashley from Jupiter Jet, and we have Sebastian from Quince. I've talked about Quince a lot. Jupiter Jet, I'm going to have a review of their first trade paperback, Volume 1. That should be up in a few days. So enjoy these clips.
What was your inspiration for creating a superhero? What was the impetus for bringing them to life? Ashley, we'll start with you.
I had a dumb idea. Jason and I were at lunch one day, and I said, I have an idea for a comic book, but it's just the name, and it's Jupiter Jet. That was my whole pitch. Now we have a trade paperback.
But the follow-up is that she said, I have this name, Jupiter Jet, and for some reason something went off in my brain, and my brain went, she's a 16-year-old girl with red hair and a jetpack. And a cat. And then right after that, I came up with the ending of our issue 5, the ending of our volume 1, which I'm on as well. But it was like, it's just this weird, like, lightning.
So we've been pitching a couple different ideas, some of which I'd like to go back to at some point, but that was the one that we got most excited about and fleshed out the most. And so it wasn't that we intended to go in and create a superhero comic book, and at the beginning, she wasn't a superhero, but she sort of levels up by the end and becomes that. And I think some of the best ideas come out of moments like that, moments of dumb luck and inspiration.
So, she sort of becomes a hero over the course of her story. And in fact, like, a lot of things is that I wanted to do in this book was kind of lean on the superhero tropes that you know of and like kind of change them or give reasons for them again, because this is a 16-year-old girl, and again, like, superheroes are absurd and when you actually think about them. And so a 16-year-old girl is not going to be naturally she's not going to naturally think about becoming a superhero. Isn't going to be the last thing off her mind. So we have a couple points in our story where our main character, she's confronted with this superhero destiny. Like, she knows that this is the right thing, that there's this villain, his name is Praetor Pluto, because alliteration happens all over superhero comics. That was another thing that I was like, gotta do this too. Every turn she's confronted by the idea that she needs to be a superhero, and she turns against it at every turn. And it's only because it's kind of foisted upon her, and it's her family, it's her brother that finally convinces her, like, no, this is your death. This is what you should do because you're good at it, and you saved me, and you did this, and you did that.
I just wanted to add that we market the book and we say that it is YA because it is. I mean, it's a story about a young girl. And I'm sure that, Sebastian, you faced this with Quince. When we say YA, we really mean like it's all ages. And Jason says that it's like the Pixar model. And we approach that going into it. Like, truly, you can read it and enjoy it and get something out of it if you are 10 or 110. And sometimes people look at YA and they think that it's Twilight, and Twilight's got value, and there's people who love it, and that's fine. But I think that that's sort of changed the landscape of what YA or all ages is. And that's something that we confront a lot, and we worked very hard on when we were writing it, because something that we all mentioned, like the Batman and the DC animated series, and their tie-in comics were truly wonderful for viewers and readers of all ages, and we wanted to tap into that same thing working on Jupiter Jet.
So the inspiration came from, I had been doing another project and it was going to wrap up, and I was looking for my next project to do, and I wanted to do something that focused on my family's culture and heritage, but I didn't know what it was going to be. And there was a period of time where my wife and I went to a couple of quinces back to back, and as I sat there and watched each one of them, I thought, man, I couldn't do it as a 15-year-old. Like, I wanted to disappear when I was 15, not be the center of attention. And that reminded me of, I also grew up watching like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, the X-Men, and there's always the moment of heightened emotion that they get their superpowers. And so I thought, man, there's no more heightened moment than what's happening right now. Like, these quinceañeras must be feeling so many emotions all at once. And what if this was when the superpowers came, was right now. There's nowhere to hide, there's nowhere to sort of disappear as I would have wanted to do. So it started there, and I was like, I did want to do something it's so culturally, it's such a specific cultural event. I was like, this is perfect, everything I wanted to do kind of aligns with this. So it started there, and then not too long after that, I was watching my nieces run around the living room dressed as superheroes. And I thought, this is so awesome. Like, I love superheroes, I love comic books, I can totally connect with them, this is great. There's something universal about superheroes, because here were my two young Latina nieces that were running around dressed as Supergirl and Batgirl. And that's great, I thought that's really awesome. But my next thought was, wow, wouldn't it also be awesome if they had more characters that represented them, that looked like them, that they could relate to both in a mask and out of one. So even when she goes home, the family life is very similar.
We had a lot of people tell us not to do it. We had a lot of people be like, yeah, I don't know if you want to make a superhero book mask and compete against Marvel and DC. I don't know if you want to do that. And I found that it didn't make any difference. It really made no difference, because what makes the difference is the concept. And I think that's the thing that like makes your book so amazing, is that like your book is so utterly unique. Like we have a problem is that like a lot of people will be like, the closest comparison people will make about our book is that they'll be like, oh, that's Girl Rocketeer. Well, I take that as a huge compliment, because I think the Rocketeer is an amazing character. But like a lot of times people will deflect it that way. But I've also seen the opposite happen at cons, especially like this one, where people will be like, I love the Rocketeer, yoink, and that's why I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, I think it's been a great response. I think part of, I do think it's uniqueness of concept, but you mentioned it being easier, and I think some of that might be because you are getting in at the beginning, like there's not decades of continuity or feeling overwhelmed by starting at issue 103, or will I know what's going on, or feeling dumb if you don't know what's going on. Like none of that is involved in a brand new book. And so it's I think a great jumping on point for people. I think it's far less intimidating and a lot more inviting. And our book actually is self-contained, so we also use that. But I do think that concept, not just about Quince, but any superhero book, like if you have a strong concept, that will help so much. Like the more generic, the harder I imagine it would be. I wanted to circle back a little bit, because it is also, for Quince specifically, it is also a generational book, and because it focuses on Lupe, but there's also, it's so much about family, and her abuela is so involved, and you had mentioned the YA and whatnot, and it is a tricky thing. I think the YA title, or even all ages title, it means different things to different people. Sometimes when you say all ages, you really mean all ages, anybody can read it, but people hear like, oh, it's for kids, or so that, I think maybe expressing that is the one challenge as far as that stuff goes.
Yeah, I want to bring it up too, because we wrote our whole book, like the idea of that, you could give it to a little kid, you can give it to a 5-year-old, but at the same time we didn't dumb it down. So an adult male can read this book and enjoy it and still get something out of it, because again, I loved in the 90s, especially I think it's the 90s is the last time this was possible. You could take an issue of Batman and give it to anybody. You could give it to a 5-year-old, you could give it to a 20-year-old, and they would both enjoy it, and also the 5-year-old wouldn't be scared to death. If you go grab Batman right now and hand it to a 5-year-old, the 5-year-old is either gonna scream because Bane ripped somebody's arm off, or he's not going to understand it because it's a psychological issue about how Catwoman can't figure out her wedding dress. And the 5-year-old's going to be bored. And I miss that. I miss when this one comic could like be everything for everyone. And that was a big thing for us as well. But yeah, we say all ages and everybody's like, no.
I want to add too, if you are working on a comic and you're trying to get it either like to people directly, or you're trying to pitch it to a company, hit up Barbara, she's great. It's really important to be able to distill your concept down to one line. Like you hear the joke like this meets this. And we always say Jupiter Jet is Kim Possible meets The Rocketeer. And if you can do that, and if it accurately represents what you put on the page, that will help you with all these different stepping stones. It will help you pitching it to your creative team, like your colorist, your letterer, everyone. It will help you pitching it to publishers, retailers, WME movie executives, because everybody wants the easiest in possible, and that one line is so important.
So thanks for checking out those clips. If you want to see some other panel discussions about creating comics or about some of these titles, you can check both of these out right here. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe for more stuff just like this.